One paycheck, one job, one person going out the door in the morning, coming home at 6, and that single income carried a whole family. A house, a car, 3, 4, 5 children, food on the table every night, shoes on every foot, a vacation once a year, and a little something put away in the savings account. Today, that sounds like a fairy tale. 2 people work, both come home exhausted, and the money still runs out before the month does. So what happened? Was it really easier back then? Or are we remembering it wrong? I want to actually answer that today. Not with nostalgia, but with numbers. What a working man earned, what a house cost, what the family spent, and what was left over. And I'll be honest with you, some of it will make you angry. And some of it, honestly, will surprise you in the other direction. Because the story is more complicated than everything used to be better. Let's start with the paycheck itself. In the mid-1950s, the average American family brought in somewhere around $4,000 to $5,000 a year. A factory worker with a union card might earn $2 an hour, maybe a little more with overtime. That comes out to roughly $80, $90 a week. A teacher, $4,000 a year. A police officer, similar. A skilled tradesman could do better. Those numbers sound almost comically small today. But hold that thought, because now we have to look at the other side of the ledger. And that's where the whole thing starts to make sense. The house. This is the number that stops people in their tracks. The median price of a new American home in the mid-1950s was around $11,000 to $12,000. By 1960, closer to $12,700. That means a house cost roughly 2 to 2.5 times the family's annual income. Let that sit for a second. 2.5 times what you make in a year, and the house is yours. Today, depending on where you live, that number is 5, 6, 7 times annual income, and in some cities, far worse. The mortgage payment on that 1950s house, around $80 to $90 a month. On a $90 a week paycheck, that's about a quarter of 1 week's pay per month. Housing wasn't a crisis, it was a line item. And here's the part that matters most and that nobody talks about. That payment never went up. A 30-year fixed mortgage on a modest house meant that in year 20, you were still paying the same $80 while your wages had gone up. The house got cheaper every year you lived in it. That's not a housing market, that's a promise. Groceries. The 1950s family spent a bigger share of their income on food than we do, around 20 to 25% of the household budget. That's actually more than today, where food runs closer to 12% for most families. Surprised? Most people are. But look closer at what that money bought. It bought ingredients: flour, potatoes, a chicken, ground beef, milk, eggs, coffee. A week of groceries for a family of 4 could run $10 to $20. And the woman of the house turned that into 21 meals through skill and planning. Nothing was wasted. Sunday's roast became Monday's sandwiches and Tuesday's soup. Today's 12% buys convenience, packaged, prepared, delivered, eaten out. We spend a smaller share of our money on food, but we spend it on someone else doing the work. The 1950s family bought raw materials and supplied the labor themselves, and that labor was a full-time job that never appeared on any pay stub. The car. A new Chevrolet or Ford in the mid-1950s ran about $2,000, roughly half a year's income. Today, the average new car costs somewhere north of 9 months of median income. So, yes, cars really were more affordable. But the 1950s car had no seatbelts to speak of, no air conditioning unless you paid dearly, drum brakes that faded, and it rusted out in a decade. We pay more now, and we get a vastly safer, longer-lasting machine. Both things are true. Gas was around 25 to 30 cents a gallon. Filling the tank cost a few dollars. And crucially, most families had one car, not 2, because one person went to work, and the neighborhood had everything else within walking distance. The second car wasn't a luxury they couldn't afford. It was a thing they didn't need. Now healthcare, and this is where the comparison gets brutal. A visit to the family doctor in the 1950s cost about $5. A hospital stay, maybe $30 a day. Having a baby, all in, a couple $100. Many families paid the doctor directly, in cash, or on a handshake payment plan. Health insurance existed, often through the employer, and it was cheap. Medical bills were a problem measured in weeks of pay. Today, for millions of families, they're measured in years, or in bankruptcy. This is not nostalgia talking, this is arithmetic. Healthcare is the single biggest thing that has gone wrong for the family budget, and it isn't close. College. A year at a state university, tuition, room, board and books could be had for well under $1,000. A student could genuinely work a summer job and pay for a school year. Not help pay, pay. Today the average student borrows tens of thousands of dollars and carries that debt into middle age. The summer job hasn't disappeared, its purchasing power has. So where did the money go? If wages went up and prices went up, why does one salary no longer work? Here's the honest breakdown, and it has 3 parts. Part 1. The essentials got expensive. Housing, healthcare, education, and childcare have all risen far faster than wages. These are not optional. You cannot decide to consume less housing or skip the hospital. The 1950s family spent a modest share of income on these, and today they eat the paycheck alive. Part 2. Our standard of living genuinely rose, and we chose it. The 1950s family had 1 car, 1 small television, 1 telephone attached to the wall, a 1,200 square foot house, no air conditioning, 1 vacation involving relatives, and a closet you could count on both hands. Today's family has 2 cars, 5 screens, a house nearly twice the size, air conditioning, streaming subscriptions, restaurant meals, and flights. If you lived at a 1950s standard of consumption today, your money would stretch remarkably far. Part of what we call the vanished single income is really a risen appetite. That's uncomfortable, but it's honest. Part 3, and this is the big one. The second income became the norm, and then it became mandatory. When families started sending a second earner into the workforce, household income rose, and the price of the things families compete for, especially houses in good school districts, rose right along with it. The extra income got bid straight into the price of the house. So now 2 incomes are required to buy what 1 income used to buy. Everybody ran faster, and everybody stayed in the same place. And the family lost something it can't get back. The person who used to be home. That's the part that stings. It wasn't a fair trade. Nobody signed anything. It just happened, slowly, over about 50 years. Now let's be honest about the other side, because nostalgia lies if you let it. That single-income world was not paradise, and it was not available to everyone. Doors were shut to plenty of Americans on the basis of skin color, and the good jobs, the good mortgages, the good neighborhoods were often explicitly closed to them. A woman who wanted a career rather than a kitchen faced a wall of refusal. Many families lived one layoff from disaster with no safety net at all. Life expectancy was shorter. The house was small, the winters were cold, and a broken refrigerator was a genuine family crisis. The good old days were better if the days were good to you. But here's what remains true, and what no amount of context can explain away. An ordinary man doing ordinary work could buy a house, raise a family, and retire with a pension. Not a rich man, an ordinary one, a man on a factory floor. That arrangement existed, it worked, and it is gone. That's not a feeling, that's the math. Let's talk about the pension, because this is the piece that vanished so quietly that most people under 50 don't even know it existed. A man who worked 25 or 30 years at a company, a factory, a utility, a railroad, retired with a defined pension. That means the company sent him a check every month until he died. Not a savings account he had to manage, not a market he had to gamble in, a check, guaranteed. And when he died, often his widow kept receiving it. Think about what that does to a person's mind. You are 28 years old on that factory floor, and you know, not hope, know, what your retirement looks like. You know your last day of work will not be followed by fear. That certainty was worth more than any bonus. And it was normal. Not a perk for executives. Normal for a man with a lunch pail. Today, that has been replaced with an account you fund yourself, manage yourself, and pray about. The risk moved off the company's books and onto yours, and nobody voted on that. It happened over about 25 years, one company at a time, and now we simply act as though it's the natural order of things. Now let's talk about the utilities and the little bills, because they tell you a lot. Electricity for a modest house ran a few dollars a month. The phone bill, similarly small, and there was one phone attached to a wall, and it did one thing. No cable bill, no internet bill, no cell phone bills times 4, no streaming subscriptions stacked one on another, no cloud storage, no software fees, no app charges. Add up what a modern family pays every month just for connectivity and subscriptions, phones, internet, streaming, cloud, apps, and you'll find a number that would have made a 1955 family's eyes water. These are not luxuries anymore. Try applying for a job or attending school without internet. So a whole category of mandatory monthly expense came into existence that simply did not exist. Nobody added a corresponding raise. And childcare. Here is the cruelest arithmetic of the whole story. In the single-income era, childcare cost nothing because someone was home. It wasn't free, it was paid for with a person's entire career, which is a real cost and we should say so plainly. But it didn't appear as a bill. Today, full-time childcare for 2 young children can cost as much as a mortgage payment. In many American cities, it costs more, which means the second income, the one that supposedly made the family richer, is often mostly consumed by paying someone else to do what used to be done at home. Families run the numbers and discover that the second job barely nets anything after childcare, taxes, commuting, and the extra car. 2 people working, and the household is barely ahead. That's not progress, that's a treadmill. And taxes. This is where people expect me to say taxes were lower, and it's not that simple. The overall tax burden on a median family isn't wildly different, and top tax rates in the 1950s were dramatically higher than today. But payroll taxes were lower, property taxes on a $12,000 house were a rounding error, and, this is the important part, a single earner supporting a family got real relief in the tax code. Today's 2-earner family faces higher effective rates on that second income, right when it's most needed. The code was built for a family shape that no longer exists. One more thing that quietly disappeared: the job itself. A man hired onto that factory floor in 1955 could reasonably expect to be on that same floor in 1985. Layoffs happened and hard times happened, but the assumption underneath everything was permanence. You didn't build a resume, you built a career in one place, and the company built its plans around you as much as you built your life around it. That assumption is gone, and its disappearance costs money in ways nobody puts on a spreadsheet. When your job might vanish in a restructuring, you can't plan. You hold cash you'd rather invest. You take the safer, worse-paying path. You don't buy the house, you don't have the 3rd child. Insecurity has a price, and families pay it every single day in decisions they never even notice they're making. And notice what a 1955 family did not spend money on, because this list is long and it matters. No childcare, no student loan payments, no cell phone plans, no internet, no streaming, no gym membership. You walked and worked with your hands. No bottled water, no takeout 3 nights a week, no second car, no air conditioning, almost no travel by air. Very little furniture because it was bought once and lasted 40 years. No credit card interest because credit cards barely existed, and buying on time meant a layaway plan with a fixed end. Layaway, by the way, deserves a moment. You picked the item, you paid a little each week, and when it was paid off, you took it home. You didn't have it while you paid for it. Imagine explaining that to someone today. You wanted the thing, so you saved for the thing, and then you got the thing. The whole modern architecture of consumer debt, buy now, pay forever, simply hadn't been built yet. Families were poorer in possessions, and vastly richer in the absence of debt. And the culture backed all of this up. There was no shame in a small house because everyone had a small house. Your neighbor wasn't showing you his kitchen remodel on a screen every night. The pressure to spend, to upgrade, to keep pace was a fraction of what it is now, because you could only compare yourself to the people on your street, and the people on your street were exactly like you. Contentment is cheaper when nobody is selling you discontent 12 hours a day. So what did that one paycheck really buy? Not luxury, not gadgets. It bought security, predictability, a mortgage payment that didn't move, a doctor you could afford, a school your kid could pay for with a summer job, and a job that would still be there in 20 years. We traded that for more things, more screens, more square feet, more choices, more travel. And I don't think anyone deliberately made that trade. It just happened, a piece at a time, until one day both parents were working and nobody could quite remember agreeing to it. Now tell me your side of it. What did your family live on? What did your father or mother earn, and what did it cover? Did one paycheck carry your house? And do you think that's still possible for anyone today? Put it in the comments, with the year and the place, because 1,000 of those stories tell the truth about this country better than any economist ever could. Until next time, take care of yourself.